This tutorial is a getting started guide to publishing data on Materials Commons. We will go over getting data published from the front page. This will include data set creation, going over the various errors, warnings, and recommendations that Materials Commons will show you as you go through the creation process, uploading your files and data, finally publishing your data set, and then looking at the published data set and its associated data. So why don't we get started? This is the front page for Materials Commons. To get started publishing data, you would press the Upload and Publish Data button. This button will take you through the process, including helping you to log in or registering an account if you don't have an account on Materials Commons. So this is the login dialog. Since we don't have an account, we'll register and create a demo user. Okay, now that we are registered, the first step is creating a project. In Materials Commons, all data belongs in projects. You can have as many projects as you want. Here we'll create a demo project for our data set. Okay, now that we've created our our project, Materials Commons drops us into the Create Dataset flow. So across the top here are the various sections that make up a data set. There are required sections such as the overview and files, and optional sections such as samples and workflow. So to get started, we will create a demo data set. And we'll save this, and then we can go through the process of adding our data. Now that we've created the data set, Materials Commons will show us which sections still need to be completed with this with these red status messages. In addition, Materials Commons will show us what the issues, warnings, and recommendations are. So if we open this up, we can see that Materials Commons has recognized that we don't have any files, and to publish a data set we'll need to have files. It also has noticed that we don't have a description, so we'll have to add a description. In addition, it gives us some recommendations such as a summary for the front page, licenses, or choosing a license to control how others use your data, and adding a funding acknowledgement for data sets that were created on a research grant. Finally, it recommends creating a DOI. A DOI is a permanent identifier, and it is something that you can use to include in your paper. The benefit of using a DOI is if the URL for your dataset ever changes, the DOI will be updated to point to the new URL. So you can just pass around the DOI and not have to worry about how to access your dataset. All right, let's fill in a couple of these fields, including the description, and we'll assign a DOI to our dataset. Okay, we can see that Materials Commons has created a DOI for us and has saved the summary and description. If we look above, we can see that the status for overview has gone to a green check mark, indicating that we have met the minimum needed requirements for our data set. Since files is still red, we'll now go on to uploading files. To upload files into your data set, you can either click on the Files tab or click on the status bar for files. Alright, we can see that we have no files in our data set, so why don't we go ahead and upload a couple of files. So Materials Commons provides two different ways to get your files into your data set. One is you can use the traditional browser upload. And the second is that we support globus. So if you have a large number of files, or your files, any individual file is larger than 70 meg, then we recommend using globus upload. Okay, here we'll choose 2 files to make a part of our data set, and we'll upload them. And now that those files are available, we'll click on Done Uploading, and you'll see that Materials Commons has automatically added these files to the data set, and your status on files is now green. If we were to go in and deselect the files, you can see that you can no longer publish the data set and that the status has turned to red. So let's go ahead and select both of these files. And since our overview is green and our files section is green, and we don't have to worry about the 2 optional sections for now, we'll go ahead and click Done and Publish. So once we click Done and Publish, what will happen is that Materials Commons will publish your data set in the background. That is, it will take the files that make up your data set and build a zip file for download. And in addition, it will create a globus point where people using globus can also download your data set files. This is very useful when you have really large data sets. Some of the data sets on Materials Commons are hundreds of gigabytes or even a terabyte or more in size. We can go now that our data set has been published and look at it on the public data site. So we'll go click on Public Data, and we can see that our data set has now been published. And if we were to click on the data set, we would see that the overview items that we filled in are included here, that Materials Commons has built a zip file for downloading and also has set up a globus endpoint for us to download the files from. We can also look at the individual files that make up our data set. So if we click on the Files tab, we can see that both of the files that we had selected are a part of the data set, and we can view them online. So here is the image file, and what is really nice is that we can do the same with the Excel file. That is, we can view this file online. So if we click on it, we can see that the Excel file has 6 different sheets, MC constants, create samples, etc., with a number of columns. We can click around through these and view the data that is contained in these columns. In addition, if a user is viewing your data set and they find a particular file that they would like to download, they can click the Download File button. They don't have to go and click and download the zip file. If we now go back to our dashboard, we can see that in addition to the project that we created, that it also tracks our published data sets. If we click on the published data sets, we can see the data set that we published, and it will keep track of the number of views, downloads, and if users add comments to it. So this is a really good way to get an overview of all the data sets that you have published on Materials Commons. This video covered creating a data set from the front page, including creating an account and your first project. There will be additional training videos made available. Thank you.